thrill seekers. Here are the thrill seekers.
Here we go again. In Bio 1, we concentrated mainly on instruction for the beginners and the intermediates, but now it's time to crank up the heat in Bio 2 and take you to the next level.
That's right, Jay. Tamiga, hub, big airs, inverts. Kino and Alistair showing us how to get longitude rides. Edbo's going to freak us out with some ARSs. We got Malik, Spoof, Manny Vargas showing us how to affect the drop knee.
And in future moves, we talk to hot new Aussies Damian King and Ben Player, and big wave legend Kainoa McGee's going to tell us how to deal with fear.
Sit back, get ready, and suck down that information.
Bust fat air. You hear that phrase thrown around an awful lot these days, but it is the cornerstone of bodyboarding, and who better to tell us how to do a big, fat, flying aerial than the man himself, three-time world champion Guilherme Tamiga from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Guilherme, you are a madman, aren't you?
I don't know.
Yes, you are. He is a madman. Guilherme, tell us how to do a big freaking aerial.
A big freaking aerial. You gotta get a big freaking speed and do a big freaking bottom turn and see the big freaking fat lip, and you gotta big freaking hit it. Just hit it and fly.
Imagine being surrounded by a huge cylinder of water, but you're still dry. That's tube riding at its best. And one of the best tube riders in the sport is Kainoa McGee from Hawaii. This guy's a 5-time finalist at Pipeline. He rides the biggest and gnarliest barrels in the world, and some small barrels occasionally too when he has to. Kainoa, there's some secrets to tube riding, to getting into the tube, to staying in there, and to coming out with the spit. How do you do it?
I think it's something that takes a lot more practice than anything else that you do, because every tube, like every person or every wave, is different. Basically you need to draw the same line, but depending on the wave you have to adjust it accordingly. Sometimes you got to get higher to get out of it, sometimes you got to go lower. And it's just something, you know, it's all set up, I think, from the bottom turn. If your bottom turn's too wide, you're going to end up going around the section. If it's too short, most times you're going to end up too high and get sucked over. So you got to find, for your style of riding, or for even the board, or the equipment that you're riding, what is the correct line to draw with that board, and can it handle that line through the whole wave? And like I said, that's going to take practice, and it's something that I've pretty much spent all my life trying to perfect. And obviously, like I said before, you can't be perfect, but as close as I can get to it is what is my goal. And especially in bigger waves. Actually, in bigger waves, it's easier once you're actually in the tube, because there's more space for you to move around and more room to work with. But on the harder, and actually the hardest thing about big waves, is that it's a totally different wave. It'll break further out, it'll break bigger and heavier, and the drops will be steeper and more vertical. So you'd have to adjust from the takeoff and get in earlier than you normally would, and turn, usually, it depends what kind of wave you're surfing. A lot of times you have to turn halfway down the face and stick that turn. It's a turn that a lot of people have a hard time making, especially out at Pipeline, because the wave is so steep and so bowly that they actually, like I said, bottom turn too wide and go around the whole section. And when I watch that, I just go, oh, damn it, stick. I get frustrated as hell, because I know what to do and I know that I can do it, but I keep forgetting that not everybody's fortunate enough to have had the experience that I've had out at Pipeline. And I think the bigger the barrel is, the more of an experience is, because you're in there and the wave's so big and moving so fast that you don't realize how deep you are until you actually come out and you're just like, that, and a lot of times you don't even, the wave will just be running and you think, I can't make it, I can't make it. As long as you stick with it, most times you will, because it's so wide open and there's so much room, for you to decide where you want to come out. If it's going to pinch, if you can pull higher, if it's just a round barrel, you can just sit in there until it spits you out. And sometimes, if you're lucky enough, you can come out after the spit, and I think that's like the ultimate, because everybody sees the spit and they go, yeah, he did make it, And when you get that delayed reaction, that's what gets everybody even more psyched. It's like, yeah, because most times you either come out with the spit or before the spit. When you can come out either at the end of the spit or even totally after the spit, then that's when you've gotten barreled for sure.
Well, Jay, I think probably the most important thing is obviously just practice. No matter how much you take other people's advice and read up on the subject through magazines, the most important thing is to get an ample amount of time in that some kind of surf spot that's got a real kind of hollow wave. And I actually learned tube riding a lot, just in shore breaks, and that was riding a lot of closeouts just to kind of pull in a barrel and see how long I could keep going for, and ride out the trenches, and eventually get spat out or whatever, And I think that's probably the most critical thing, and just learning to handle like real late takeoffs and stuff like that, learning to keep your edge in a real steep, critical part of the wave where the wave's sucking a lot of water up the face. It's just practice, really, I guess. And as I said, edge control is the most important thing. It's pretty involved. Like, I don't really think I'm riding a tube, but it just comes naturally. So it's one of those things you just pick up and it becomes a part of you.
All right, so I take off on a wave and it looks like it's going to be hollow. I'm dropping down the face. What do I have to do to get into the tube?
Well, if you take a wave like pipe, I guess there's two schools of riding at pipe. There's the guys that take off down, they just drop straight down to the bottom and they come off the bottom real hard. They do like a big bottom turn, and they come around the section and they kind of get barreled towards the end, which that's one approach, but I don't usually use it. The kind I like doing the most is just to try and angle into the tube. And what I do is when I'm dropping down, I'll try and drag my inside leg into the barrel, into the face of the wave a bit, which at a left braking wave like pipe would be my left leg, and use my fin as a bit of a rudder, a bit of a control there. I use my elbow a lot, my inside elbow, to try and dig the rail into the rail of the board into the face of the wave real hard too. And once you're in the barrel, you're pretty much set. Then you just kind of it's how much you drag your legs or how hard you lean on your rail will control your speed and will determine how deep you're going to go or how soon you want to get out of there.
Okay, sometimes I see guys pulling the tube and they'll pull up on the nose of their board. What does that do?
Well, I guess when you're pulling up on your board, you're flexing off that point of where your elbow rests, and that, for me, that acts as a bit of an anchor or a skeg right there. And that just gives you a bit more holding power.
And it can also slow you down and stall, right?
Yeah, it can stall like that too. At the same time, you'll probably make up for that, but because it's a hollow wave, you can afford to lean forward on your board and get that extra speed or whatever. But in a tube, like, I'm constantly moving backwards and forwards on my board and adjusting, making a weight and trim adjustments that'll help me get that amount of speed that I want in the barrel.
Okay, so it sounds like just pretty much experience and being aware of your surroundings are the most important thing for tube riding?
Yeah, I think experience is really important because it gives you that confidence in a barrel, not to panic and bail in a situation. I mean, in a big barrel, you don't want to be bailing. It's just like if you ever in a big barrel and you get off too early, it's like a 95% chance you're going over the fall. So the most important thing is to be real confident and try to ride it out as long as you can, and have some good wax on your board and hang on real tight.
Every sport has its colorful characters, and these two maniacs go off the end of the spectrum. From Imperial Beach, California, Manny Vargas, and from Kalaheo, Kauai, in Hawaii, Kyle Maligro. They're here today to talk about drop knee bodyboarding. Some of the hottest maneuvers in the sport are being done in the drop knee stance, and these guys are doing them. So first of all, we're going to get right to it. Kyle, you're a drop knee shredder, aren't you?
No.
Yes, you are. I know you are, and I want to know, and all these people want to know, how do you do a good drop knee snap? Tell us step by step.
First, just need to find a wave that you feel comfortable with. I prefer more bowly kind of waves. Just bottom turn, set that inside edge in, and go down the line and look for that lip that's coming towards you, and head up it. Release that inside rail. Get into the outside rail. Dig it as hard as you can, and let loose. Maybe your tail might slide a little bit, and then recuperate. Go back in the inside rail. Go back down the line.
All right, now Manny Vargas, you are a drop knee tube
Wizard.
master. I've seen you plumb the depths of barrels the world over, but here we are at Aukai. Tell us how to drop knee tube ride like the best of them.
Through Kyle's version of doing the snap, he mentioned rail a lot, and that's what you got to consider when you're doing a drop knee tube ride. You got to make sure your rail is set inside the speed line, inside the tube, and as soon as you set that rail, the tube's over you. If you lose that rail, you're losing the whole tube. So you got to make sure that rail's set.
Okay, Kyle, along those lines, if you're to slide out, drop knee in the barrel or otherwise, what's a good way to prevent sliding out?
Probably just channels might help, and some sharp rails on your board, just so you can always keep that edge in. And just a lot of leaning too, a lot of balance. Make sure your balance is correct.
Fred Booth is one of the wizards in the sport of bodyboarding. Why do I say that? Well, the man is rarely entering in competitions these days, but where he is entering is big, hollow, spitting caves out at off-the-wall, backdoor, and other spots around the world. And Fred is here today to tell us how to do some of the most difficult maneuvers in the sport. That's drop knee maneuvers, and specifically, Fred, tube riding, drop knee tube riding. It's not as easy as it looks. It's easy to slide out. How do you hold your edge in those big, hollow barrels?
The main thing is probably knee placement. You want to get your knee right next to the edge of the rail of the board, and you want your back foot to hang off the tail. You don't want your foot sitting on the tail. You'd rather have it like bent off. And if your knee's too far away from the rail, then you're not going to be able to hold your turn and you're going to slide out. And if your knee's too far off the rail, then you're probably going to have your knee skip off the rail and do the splits while you're bottom turning with your front leg still on the board. So knee placement would be the most important.
Now, what about big drop knee off the lips? We've seen you hit the biggest lips out there and fly into the flats and pull it off. How do you do that?
That's just me trying to do maneuvers that I've learned how to do in 1 to 2 foot waves since I was small, and now I'm just trying them in bigger waves. And it's the same thing, it's just more consequence when you don't do it right.
So you start small and work your way up.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey Fred, board design. Now, drop knee boards are usually a little bit different than prone boards. What would you look for in a good drop knee board?
The best thing to look for would just to be a basic shape, like just in between prone and drop knee board, where the nose is not too wide, not too. A lot of guys like small noses, but if you like the prone sometimes and you get a small nose, then you're kind of limited to just drop knee on it, and I like the prone just as much, so I try to get one that's good for prone and drop knee.
Nowadays are looking for specific boards, which probably consist of narrow nose, parallel lines, which mean almost parallel rails, and different types of tails, like
Crescent tail.
Crescent. You guys, you brought a tear to my eyes. Great stuff. All right, so the next time you take off on a big wave, remember, get up!
If tomorrow never shows, I want you all to know that I loved you all, you're beautiful. To have myself alone, I've wasted so much precious time, been skating along these fine lines. Now these weeds have grown where the sun once shone, and my life has passed me by. And my life has passed me by. I don't know why I keep searching for something that I never found. While these weeds get deeper as I turn around, and time grows older and I've grown colder so long. It's past that I forgot to count. And these weeds have grown where the sun once shone. And I can feel it. Today I cut off all the ties. I've been led blind for all this time. But somewhere in between the lies are the hearts and minds of those who try. And although I've learned to lies, I don't know why I keep searching for something that I never found. While these weeds get deeper as I turn around, and time grows older and I've grown colder so long. It's past that I forgot to count. And these weeds have grown where the sun once shone. And I can feel it, this space between us.
Drop knee at huge pipe. How do you do it?
It's just, you just go. I think you can't, it takes even less thinking than prone. You just got to get up and go. And it takes longer because you got to get up, so you just got to get up, get into it, and go. Have the right boards, the right equipment, and the right state of mind. Right state of mind.
The world-famous bonsai pipeline right over our shoulders here. I should block your view so you pay attention to this madman, Michael Eppo Eppelston, the '93 world bodyboarding champion and one of the top riders in the world, but he's also an inventor of some pretty freaky air maneuvers over the years, one of those being the ARS, or air roll spin. And Eppo, it's not as hard as most people think, is it?
No, basically it's just like heading for a roll. You know, I got this flipper to demonstrate. What you do is you drive down, you hit the lip like you're going to do a roll, you do your roll, and then you do your spin as well. So what you've got to think is roll, spin, okay? And a lot of people lean backwards and then stick their leg in and spin it around. But the most important thing is get your speed, because the speed is the dominating of the most spectacular maneuver.
Okay, so it seems like if you want to complete that entire spin and roll sequence there in the air, obviously you want to hit the lip with perfect timing.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, that's what the ARS is all about. Now check this out.
Sure the public never learns. Give us extra crumbs, simply can burn. His sons and his brothers is to stand apart and run. And so let everybody so they get no liberty. Like mindless experiments in 1943. And I know they get numb from the denigration, the devastation of God's creation. Fascists for the bill, get fascists for the kill. Drug in the streets, pushes poison without any guilt. They desert persecute in fear of legal suits. But I'm not a man, so this whole thing is a ruse. And I stand opposed to the non-humane. We banned to expose and twist the brain. Disdain the brain, I'm unashamed. No side effect to seize the people you know who to blame. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, people? Not your time. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, people? Bring it on. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, people? Not your time. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, people? The reason why the death toll flows. The numbers in the billions, but it's never quite disclosed. Drug industry pushing more than drugs and sweeping their experiments right under the rug. And while we're on the topic, do they really want to heal? Do they really want to kill the people or just want to steal a refined food culture of a century? And diet is the reason why our nation's disease. You see Hippocrates for words like these. Let food be a medicine, but who believes? It's a healthcare nightmare, declare despair. You see, parents give a fortune to the pharmacy. Anyway to get a kid by the FDA. Torture's done in some heinous ways. And healers of the people they are portrayed. You'll be amazed at the way the people are being betrayed. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, people? Not your time. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, people? Bring it on. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, people? Not your time. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, people? Is there a human left in our humanity? Try to find, it's hard to find, try to find just one. Is there a human left in our humanity? Lately it's been hard to find just one.
You can't beat this for a backyard, and as far as aerialists go in the sport of bodyboarding, you can't beat this guy, Hawaii's Jeff Hubbard. This man is one high-flying dude, and I'll tell you, when the photographers are on the beach, their eyes are trained on him. Jeff, you bust big, everyone knows it, everyone wants to do it. Tell us step by step how it's done.
Well, you first gotta, try and get a good wave. That's always important. The bigger sometimes the better, more powerful. The more lip you can hit. You try and get as much speed as you can on the takeoff. project yourself down the wave. You know, aim for that lip. It's, you know, a pitching lip. It looks like it's going to throw out real hard, so you can get the maximum, you know, projection. When you take your turn, don't stray too much. Try and keep it a straight line to the lip. Hit it early, and just kind of like throw yourself in the board in one motion with the lip. You know, you don't want to get stuck in the lip. So try and like use your momentum to go past the lip and out and up. You know, and you can just do variations with that. Go from there.
Jeff, what happens when you're up there? I see you spread your legs and you kind of get your body sort of horizontal up there. Is that something that you're aware of and that you try to do to stop yourself from over-rotating maybe?
Not really. Sometimes, you know, sometimes my legs fly out. I remember a couple landings of pipe, my legs fly out to the sides and I land sideways like that. That kind of helps brace the impact sometimes. And sometimes my legs are kind of spread when I land. You know, those kind of help break the fall of the landing, you know, which can be kind of treacherous sometimes.
Do you look for a cushion to land on, or do you try and land tail first?
Yeah, if you can get high enough, you know, you want to land back on the wave, where it's soft. You don't really want to land in the flats, but sometimes you can't help landing in the flats because that's the only place the wave throws you. So, you kind of got to go with what the wave gives you and work with that.
Imagine coming to the North Shore of Oahu on a shoestring budget, sleeping on people's floors, and eating nothing but noodles for days on end. Well, if you're a grommet, that's pretty much what you have to put up with. And two of the hottest up-and-coming grommets in the world are Australians, Damien King and Ben Player. They're here with us today to talk about new maneuvers.
So Ben, what goes through your mind when you're thinking of a new maneuver, and how do you come up with them?
Anything like speed kind of comes through my mind, like just get the speed to do the new maneuver, but I come up with a new maneuver by going through it in my head first, like picturing a section coming towards me and how I'd hit that section to do the maneuver. That's kind of how I come up with a new maneuver. Or just a freaky occurrence, like the other day, like I went up for a forward air and ended up just going into a forward flip. I think you saw it at Pipe, and like that's how I end up coming up with maneuvers.
Excellent. And Damien, what about yourself? How do you come up with a new maneuver?
I just look to hit the lip in different, in different parts of the wave. Like instead of hitting the lip there, I'll try to hit the lip like more under the lip, so it throws you into a different kind of spin, or just however it like propels you just out into the flats. That's kind of, I just hit and hope really. But sometimes like you can do a reverse, and you can do a reverse like where it's more critical and it'll throw you like maybe into like a flip or something like that. But it's just trial and error really.
Guys, is it a combination of existing maneuvers that helps you to invent new maneuvers, Ben?
Yeah, without a doubt, I reckon it's a combination of all different maneuvers, but big maneuvers at the same time, not just your average 360s and L rollers. It's kind of coming into a new league of doing big inverts, big rolls, and big ARSs and big forward airs, whatever it is, you know. But I think that's the way it's going to go in the future. It's already starting to look a bit that way among the young generation. Like they're already trying to kind of hook like an ARS out of the bowl and then hook like a roll on the way out as they come back up, and I believe that's the way it'll go.
Great stuff. The cutting edge starts here. Check this out. One of the heaviest lineups in the world is the bonsai pipeline on the north shore of Oahu. And one of the heaviest guys out at Pipeline is this guy right here, Kainoa McGee, 5-time pipe finalist, and definitely big barrel charger out there. Kainoa, dealing with fear in big waves is something that a lot of people are going to come across sooner or later in their bodyboarding career. How do you deal with the fear out there?
Well, I've been bodyboarding the North Shore for 11 years. You know, you go out there, if you get work, you get work. It's something where I just go, it's expected. And if I get work, then it's like, okay, cool, paid my dues for that day, or, you know, or for that session. And most times I only get worked once or twice. And, you know, it's good to actually get work, because then you know what to expect next time it happens, or when you get in a situation that puts you in that spot again, you'll know what to expect and how to react accordingly. As far as fear goes in the big waves, I don't fear the wave itself or what I'm doing out there. I respect it, but I'm not going to go out there all afraid. I'm going to go out there and use my head and think about what I'm doing. I'm not going to go out there and take off on some 15-foot closeout just to impress everybody on the beach. Oh, cuz he's nuts, he took off. There's a difference between being crazy and being smart. And that's just stupidity, you know, just to do something so people say, oh, he did this, he did that, knowing you're not going to make it and possibly get injured. I go out there, and every wave I take off on, I honestly believe I'm going to make. And, you know, it's nature. You can't always predict nature, but, you know, more than not, I've been fortunate enough to get away with a lot of the stuff that I've done.
Sounds like calculated risk pays off for you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's calculated risk. You got to go out there not with no fear, but with respect for the ocean, and that knowing that you're not going to go out there and conquer, going, I'm the man. I'm going to kill this wave. This 15-foot wave is, you know, I'm going to destroy it and blah, 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 because you won't. You'll be the one getting destroyed. But if you go out there with respect for the ocean and realize how powerful it is and how much it can do, and just be in awe of it, and just be like, oh, that's the bomb. That's what you have to be like. That's what I want to catch. That's the wave I want to ride. You know, you got to start 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, and work your way up. Because the more you surf a certain size wave, it doesn't become as big and as fearful as it was when you first started. So, you know, you start off 4 to 6, oh, that's big. And after a while, 4 to 6 is fun, then 6 to 8 is big. Then that gets fun, and then 6 to 8, then it gets up to, you know, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, then regardless of how long you've been surfing, that's big, period. You know, and then anything up from that is obviously macking. And you just have to have a confidence and surf it enough so that you have a belief in yourself that you can go out there and do it, and not think of the fear factor. Fear is what stops a lot of people from doing anything and everything. What you need to do is change that fear into a confidence and a self-consciousness to be smart enough to realize what's going on out there. I don't just jump in the water and go out. I can just see the waves and see that it's perfect, grab my stuff and run down the beach. It doesn't mean I'm not watching the waves, I'm not watching the current, I'm not watching where the waves are coming in the most from, and if there's clean out sets, where they're coming from. I see everything, and I pay attention to everything. Nothing is more important than my paddle out to know where to jump in and where I need to be by the time I get to a certain point in the water so that I can get out safely. A lot of people just think, oh, it's big, whatever, you know, they jump in the water, and they don't even know where they're jumping in. They're jumping in, they're getting sucked down the gums, or, you know, not in the right place. And before I jump in the water, I know exactly where I want to be, and I know exactly where I want to be sitting. And then if things change while I'm out there, I reassess the situation and see if I can take off deeper on the bigger ones or further out, and adjust my game plan or my thinking accordingly.
Okay, well, that's some advice I could use. Thanks a lot, Kainoa.
No worries.
Right on.
damnation. I become the fault to lead the revolt. At first to the earth, there's a danger. I have become a terror. I have become a terror. I have become a terror. I have become insurgent. I will be the power surge. Shock to the system. Electrify everybody. Shock to the system. I will be the power surge. Shock to the system.
Heavy stuff. How was that, man?
Too much.
Well, that's the end of our two-part video series. Bio 1, the beginner stuff, and Bio 2, the intermediate and advanced instruction. Watch it again and again. Well, hope you've enjoyed it. The best riders in the sport teaching you how to do the biggest maneuvers in bodyboarding.
That's right, Joe. We had guys like Cornell McGee talking about fear. Hub in the air, huge in the air. Eppo freaking out, ARSs. The boys drop knee. It's all there. Old moves, new moves, future moves, air moves. I don't know what else we could fit in there.
Well, Bullet, we still have some insane action footage coming up. Check this out, and remember, go big or go home.
future of bodyboarding, I think it's going to be a lot heavier. I think the moves are going to be real extreme. I think all the young guys now are going to start to really push the limits and push themselves. So there's a lot of us pushing each other right now. So I think it's going to be I think we have a lot to look forward to.
I think the future is going to be more combinations of maneuvers, like sick errors to different maneuvers, like spins, and just in bigger and like heavier sections. Could be a lot heavier. You know, like all the maneuvers now are kind of done on smaller waves, but I think it'll just get bigger and bigger.
The sickest maneuvers to me is anything with power. As long as you coming hard, going hard, and not holding back anything in the air, as long as you busting. Just keep on busting hard. That's about it, yeah.
The future, I think you'll be seeing lots more nut stuff going on, like just bigger airs, just hitting nutser sections, trying to do just crazy stuff, like flips off, not just like flips off like a 2-foot wave, but like flip off like maybe like an 8-foot wave or something, just going for it.
The future of bodyboarding, it all depends on all of you guys, the grommets, everybody who's learning how to bodyboard. You guys are in control. You guys are the ones that are going to take it where it wants to go. Bodyboarding is a relatively new sport. It's been around 20-odd years, and it's so wide open. You can direct it wherever you want to go.
Yeah, the future of the sport is go high, and get speed, and do the meanest maneuvers as air spinners, invert airs, backflips, ARS. Do anything you want to do it, just hit the lip and do it. That's the main soul of the sport. Bodyboarding is the best. Yeah!